Hey, everybody, getting ready for tonight's special live holiday show for the call-in show, so be ready for that. We'll get started here in just a second. Scott's got his old-fashioned. I got my Coke Zero, so grab your drink.
I just thought, I did a lot of Christmas shopping today, kind of tired, kind of worn out. I was like, I'm just going to chill with a little cocktail tonight.
That's why it's good to have two daughters. They pretty much take care of everything. I'm just like, okay, I'll order it. What do we get? But yeah, I came up
Well,
with
listen, I don't do gifts. So
You
that's
don't do
just like our rule for
either.
birthdays and everything. We don't do gifts. We do experience. We go on vacation all the
It's a
time.
good idea. That's a good idea.
So we shop together, basically. But the thing was, Emily was with us and my brother was with us. So me and Emily and Bob just did other things so that we wouldn't see Elizabeth what she was buying for Emily, basically.
Nice. No, Pam buys all the girl stuff. I don't care because I'm a terrible shopper. We've said that before. I hate shopping and I'm terrible at it. So yeah, I just know a lot of Amazon boxes have shown up. Not just Amazon boxes. A lot of boxes have shown up over the last week.
A lot of Amazon came to our house too. I was kind of in charge of my dad and brother, so I just ordered a bunch of stuff on Amazon.
It's crazy with her family, man. It is nuts. Everybody gets a gift. Like everybody buys for everybody, and
that's crazy.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I'm trying to get away from that stuff. That's how my mom was.
It's crazy.
So my mom is gifts like crazy. Let's spend 8 hours opening gifts on Christmas. Like that's
how
too
it
much.
is Christmas Eve. It's nuts.
Yep. So with her passing, like I was hoping maybe that was slowed down a little bit. My dad is like slowly getting there. But yeah, not quite there.
It is just crazy. Let's see. Okay, so tonight is going to be our holiday show. Rhonda Lee, I was going to talk about your two ornaments that I got. I was saving it for tonight's show. Then I'm going to tweet out the picture after the show because they're so awesome. I got my exchange ornaments from Rhonda.
Nice. I got one. We got one of our two. Did you see that photo I shared? I can send it to you if you didn't see it.
This weekend
It's like a spaceship Earth ornament that says the gardeners on it. It's pretty
sweet. See, both of mine are on this tree. Well, you can't see them.
Yeah.
I took pictures, but they're both right here, and I'll talk about them real quick at the beginning. They're awesome. One's homemade. Actually, they're both.
And you saw the story I forwarded you that email.
Yes, that was very cool.
I need to respond back to that. Actually, I'll do that tonight.
That's very cool. Okay, here we go. Let's get going. Okay. So thanks for being here, Katie, Rhonda Lee, Justin, everybody else. Let us know you're here, and we'll get going. Is that hooked up? Yep.
I'm gonna be so hungry at the end of this. Like I haven't hardly ate today.
Oh my gosh. I just scarfed down my Taco Bell. Okay, here we go. The girls are having frozen pizzas. Frozen pizzas?
Anyone up for frozen pizza?
I was trying to make turkey, and
Alexa went up to 820 degrees.
It's totally living in the future. Blew up the turkey. So they're having frozen pizzas. Okay, here we go. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the BOGP open line for Sunday night, December 18th, 2022. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com. And of course, one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Hope you're having a great Sunday night. If you're tuned in live with us here on Facebook and or YouTube, probably one or the other. Glad to have you here as we are 1 week away from Christmas. And tonight is the first night of Hanukkah to all those who are celebrating. So have a great celebration over the next 8 nights. Hope you have a wonderful time with friends and family. And we're going to have a good time tonight because we're going to kind of break from the Disney. Now, you can talk Disney if you want to when you give us a call here at 407-413-9395. But tonight, we're going to be talking holiday traditions. We're going to talk about those gifts you got as a kid that were just the bomb. Like you came down, Santa came through in the biggest way possible. It was under the tree, or it was by the tree, or it was outside, it was whatever. Or you could talk about that thing that you wanted so bad. Dude, Santa did not come through ever. Like you thought for sure Santa was going to have it in the sleigh. Nope, didn't happen. And you're 49 and you're still a little bitter about it. We could talk about that. We're also going to talk about Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. What's it like in your family? Favorite Christmas cookies. We're just going to talk traditions and have some fun as a podcast family tonight. So doing that, speaking of family, it's my brother from another mother, my good friend Scotty G. What's up, Scott? Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Mike. Yes, happy Hanukkah. I'm very excited that that's kicking off. And, speaking of Hanukkah, that at the Festival of Holidays, which, I don't think you get there very often because it's weird time, right? It's like right when Thanksgiving starts, it ends. Like it's a very short-lived festival. So it has a small window. But we were just there for Thanksgiving, and the I can't pronounce it, but the Hanukkah festival booth is my favorite one out of all of them. Like we order everything on that menu every year. Like I love the black and white cookie. They have the jelly donuts. Like it is so good. It's my favorite booth there is. And they have the pastrami on rye. Like everything on that menu is so good.
Sign me up.
Right?
That sounds really good. Really good. Okay, so we are going to open up the phone lines here in just a second, but to kind of kick it off, I want to talk about one thing we've been doing here on the podcast. This is a podcast here for about over the last 10 years, at least, probably I think about 12 or 13, almost since the show started. We've had a holiday card exchange. Thanks to Ricky for putting that on this past year. That was awesome because she's had a lot going on with getting ready to become a mother. And Michelle has put on the ornament exchange this year, which she's been doing for over a decade. She's been in charge of that for this entire time. I want to take the time because I got my ornament from my secret exchange person, and it came from Nova Scotia. And if you are one of the people who joins us live here on the show regularly, you will know Rhonda Lee's name, and she is here with us tonight as we record live. She sent me two wonderful ornaments. One was created out of materials from her area there in Nova Scotia. Now, both are hanging here in the studio. You can't really see them because my mic's blocking it's kind of like an Alabama tree. I have to block it so Scott doesn't get mad at me. But anyway, it's mostly Bama ornaments. But I hung it on the tree so I can have it here as I work all day and just have that taste of somewhere else. But that is a cool ornament because it gives me like artifacts from Nova Scotia, a place I'll probably never go, but I know I have a friend there now, and that'll be on my tree every year from now on. And the second ornament, Rhonda Lee made on her own. And I thought this was a great idea because this is something everybody else could kind of steal the idea and make their own. Because this one could be different like 5 years from now. And what she took, and I'll tweet out the picture so you can see a close up of both. But I want to wait till after I talked about it. But it's one of those clear like ball ornaments, but inside of it, Rhonda Lee took park maps from all over Walt Disney World, the 4 theme parks, I think Disney Springs, and she cut them into little bitty slices, but then curled them up almost like little bitty scrolls, and then stuffed them down in there and filled the entire bulb with these little park maps. Like I can see, oh, that's the studios. Or, oh yeah, that one's from the Magic Kingdom. And you can see, oh, that's like, talking about wheelchairs, and, that's talking about, fireworks. And, I stared at it for like 45 minutes trying to, see what part's that. So I thought that was very, very cool because I spent 45 minutes looking at a ball, a Christmas part of it.
That's so awesome.
It's really cool. And so I was humbled by that. I was excited. That will be a part of my traditions. That'll be hanging on my tree for years and years to come. And I'm so glad that we get together as a podcast family just to do something like that. I have ornaments on my tree from Nova Scotia, and I got a Christmas package from a listener in Australia and her family. So Mel sent that, and I just gotta say, she sent these cookies called Tim Tams.
Okay.
They are so good. They are so good. I can't.
Are they already gone? Did you already destroy them?
No, I'm forcing myself to only eat one a day because they're that good. But like I'll have a bite off one, I'll put it back in. Like I'll have like a half of one, and then I'll put it back. Dude, I'm not kidding. It's the best cookie. They're like EL fudges, but like 10 times better. But I also got like all these little candies. I got some something called Milo. I guess is like chocolate milk maker. I haven't made that yet. But and there's a little koala bear right over my shoulder here, and he says he has a shirt on that says BOGP. If you look real close, so I just love our podcast family all around the world. We get together with a common love of Disney, and that's kind of it brings us all together. But it's just fun that we can all get together with all the we see it on the social media and stuff, especially over the last like month or so. All this fighting and all this arguing and all this, we've rallied together for almost 15 years, and I love that. So I know you had a cool exchange too, which you kind of shared with me, and I was blown away by that too.
Yeah. So I'll share. But yeah, like I love the ornament exchange. So I wasn't a listener right off the bat. I kind of discovered the BRGS podcast. I think it was like 2013 or 14. It was after like our second or third trip. And then I know I did the exchanges early on, and then something happened. I think it was because we moved, and I forgot one year, and then I forgot the last couple of years. So I jumped back on it again this year. Super excited to do. I did 2 exchanges this year, Mike. Haven't got one of them yet, so like the mystery is still out there. You know, like I get that excitement every day. Like, oh man, is there gonna be something in the mail today? But the first one we got was super awesome. It was from Lauren Wilson, and very cool ornament. I'll show you my just so that you can kind of see it. But it's a spaceship Earth with Mickey ears,
Oh,
like
dang,
which is
that's
very
awesome.
cool. And it says the Gardeners on it. Boom.
Dang,
Just the
personalized.
awesome, like personalized ornament. I love Spaceship Earth. My handle is Epscott. You know, people call me Epscott. So obviously I have a draw the Spaceship Earth with the Mickey ears and everything too. It's a super cool ornament. So shout out to Laura, excuse me, for getting that ornament for us. We love it. Lauren, yeah. I don't know how I keep getting your name mixed up. I apologize. But Lauren, thank you for so much for the ornament.
And I know that, you know, we're not going to get into details, but the listener that you sent your ornaments to, and you got really special ornaments in the exchange from a cool place, really made a connection in a way that you had no idea that was going to happen. And I just love that because you never know when you can lift somebody up with a kind word or just a kind gesture. In this case, it happened totally by coincidence, which, you know, you didn't share a whole lot with me, but I just heard that happened. And it's, you know, it's what the season's all about. It makes me happy.
Blown away. And that's what's the great thing about ornaments. There's always a story. And you've talked about this so many times, Mike, and this kind of segues into what you want to talk about tonight. Like anytime you decorate the tree, you pull an ornament out and you just think of like the origin of that ornament a lot, right? Like, oh man, I remember we got this back in 2011 when we got married or whatever. Like, do you remember that year? Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just so many great connections. So like, I know when I hang the Spaceship Earth ornament on, I'm always going to think of the Wilson family when they gave that to us, you know, and like, oh yeah, I remember in 2022, we got that awesome ornament. Like, it's just so great. That's one of my favorite things about Christmas is decorating the tree and thinking about all the ornaments.
Absolutely. And my first exchange from the Be Our Guest podcast exchange was Michelle, actually, who runs it. I think she was the first year, and she's from down in Florida, and she knew I was into space, right? And so I have Santa Claus riding on the back of a space shuttle. This show is so old that actually space shuttles were flying when we first started doing the show. I mean, that was ancient technology at this point. They're all in museums. But like every year, just like you said, you know, he's always at the top of the tree, you know, not he's not the topper, he's just an ornament. The space shuttle has to be towards the top.
Yeah.
And every time I see it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was like from the first year of the ornament exchange. And like, you know, graybeard at this point.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I found an ornament from the exchange. It was like a reindeer saying like, "Won't you guide my sleigh tonight?" But I think it says Sparty, "Won't you guide my sleigh tonight?" Because it's like wearing a Michigan State winter like stocking cap. Like it's so cool. Like I love that stuff.
So check this out. Laura's in the live chat and she says, I ordered my ornament on Etsy and signed it, your BOGP friend. And the shop owner wrote back asking if BOGP was the podcast. He's a listener too. I thought it was cool.
That is so cool.
I am screenshotting that for my wife because she swears nobody listens to the show. And I, you know, sometimes I think that I see the numbers and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of people listening. But, you know, a lot of times I think I'm just blabbing down here. You know, that stuff came from Australia earlier this week. Like, I wanted to open it, but I waited because Mallory had cheer and like Pam was at work and like, it, you know, it said Australia on the outside. It was like a parcel, you know, it wasn't like a piece of mail. It was like a big deal. So I totally wanted to rip it open, but I was like, God, this is like a once in a lifetime thing. Like I'm going to open it with Mallory and with Pam because we're never, ever going to get mail from this far away.
Incredible willpower by you. Like I would have like torn through that thing if I was working at home and it showed up.
But then my girls, okay, so like a little piece of candy, like little chocolate Santas, but some of them are like chocolate and caramels, but they're like Australian brands we've never heard of. They start snarfing them. Like, I'm like, easy. This is from Australia. You can't eat that like it's Hershey's. Dude, they were snarfing them like, I was like, whoa.
That's funny.
Easy. Yeah, it was a little nuts. Anyway, so tonight we're going to talk about anything you want to talk about related to the holidays. You a Christmas Eve family, you a Christmas Day. What's that toy or that thing that you always wanted as a kid? The thing that you got that you loved when you freaked out, you know, that moment where it came down. We didn't come down. We didn't ever had to do Story House. We just came around the corner. But, you know, you saw under the tree like, because I had a couple of those moments. So what was it? So you guys know the number. It's 407-413-9395. Give us a call and just, you know, feel free to interrupt us. But Scott, what was your big, like, let me ask you that first. Your like big toy from childhood that you got?
Honestly, like I was like really into video games. So like usually it was like a Super Nintendo game. And that was like at the top of my list. And my mom had a funny way of doing it. I told you earlier, like Christmas was ridiculous in my house growing up, like so many presents. But they weren't like all like big presents, right? They were just like my mom would like buy 6 pairs of socks and then wrap each pair like individually. So that was like 6 things to open. You know what I mean? Like, so it would be drowned out, And then I don't remember what year it happened, but I was like, we should do like a sort. Like we should have like a fourth quarter or like an overtime for Christmas where we grab all the gifts under the tree and like put them in our own little piles. Cause how we did it, like one person would play like Santa Claus and be like, okay, like and find a gift for my dad under the tree, for my mom, my brother, or me. And then finally, like once we got to a certain point, we're like, all right, we're gonna make our own piles, And then I'd go to open up a gift, and my mom would be like, "No, you might want to save that one for later." So like I knew that would be like a bigger ticket item.
Yep, totally.
And then this one year, I'll never forget. Like I get to that item, like my hands are excited, like all right, I'm about to tear this thing open, and it's just like a pack of candy, like 20 Snickers bars, or like this like giant box of like candy, and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then like my brother's was the same way. Like he got like all these like Tootsie Roll Pops or something. Maybe I have the story backwards, like whichever thing we opened. Anyway, it was like a piece of candy. And that was like our last gift. And I was like, that's kind of disappointing.
You're like wanting like Mike Tyson's Punch Out or something, right?
Yeah. Like I think the game was actually Breath of Fire. It was a Super Nintendo like role-playing game. And I just remember later that day, like I'm in my room and then all of a sudden I hear my brother going crazy, like, oh yeah. I'm like, and he like comes running into my room. He's like, open up the candy. So I opened up the candy and like the game was stuffed in the box of candy.
But she let you go like
she let us go like all afternoon, like not thinking about
it. Dude, your mom is awesome. That was awesome that she did that. What a memory.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, my bigger ticket items are always like Super Nintendo games because that was like just what I was really into, And then it was always great when you got one of those new boxes. I always knew the shape. That's why she was being funny,
Right.
Because I could always tell what the shape of a Super Nintendo game was going to be. But she got us good that year, and then she ended up doing it the next few years, and we were always smart enough to like open up something that seemed kind of weak and then find like a good game inside of it.
That is awesome. What a story. Oh man, that's what the show's about. Because feel free to do that to your kids. You got plenty of time right now. Okay. We have our first call tonight. Hey, who's joining us?
Hey, it's Katie from Maryland.
Hey, Katie, how's it going? Almost marathon weekend.
Right. I cannot wait.
Well, I can, but
I can.
I'm excited to get down there. I'm not excited to run.
If you all play Wordle, so you know the daily 6-letter word guess game, you should definitely play it today because it's a very marathon weekend appropriate word for today, by the way.
Oh no, I've never played Wordle because I don't need another thing to try to keep my streaks going because I'm very like compulsive. So I'd never played the first time, but no.
Marathon specific word.
Is it a 4-letter word that starts with a P and ends with an N? And middle letters are AI? Because that's what it'd be for me.
Pain. Max pain.
5-letter word, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what's gonna be. So hey, share a memory. So what about you? Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, favorite toy from childhood? What do you got?
Yeah. So my main Christmas Eve tradition specifically is that, growing up in Maryland, seafood is very much a thing. So crab in particular, but shrimp, oysters, fish, etc., like all very big Maryland food. And so while I do not have an ounce of Italian blood in me, my mom and I have always done the Feast of 7 Fishes on Christmas Eve. So that basically is literally 7 different kinds of fish or shellfish, depending on what you have. And she always makes it in a steam pot kind of situation. So it's literally a pot of seafood. So we'll get lobster, fish, shrimp, different kinds of crabs, clams, mussels, etc. So it's literally this big plate of seafood, and that's our Christmas Eve dinner. And we've done it every year since as far back as I can remember. And there's a lot of Old Bay on top. So if you're, from Maryland, you understand what I'm talking about. And if you're not, I'm sorry, you're missing out. But otherwise it is fantastic.
See, I would love that. But if I did that, because we do Christmas Eve now at my in-laws, and it's awesome because everybody goes over there, big family. I mean, the amount of presents, and I'll try to take a picture and put it on Instagram this year. Cause it's ridiculous. Like every year I say this, and I mean, when I grew up, we went to my grandparents' house and we had a lot because we had 4 grandkids and all. We had quite a few presents, but this puts it to shame. I mean, you can barely walk. Their house is not that big. You can barely walk in the living room. Like people are tripping over stuff until we open. Then everybody takes their stuff to like the corners. But if we had that kind of the Feast of the Seven Fishes or whatever, I would wipe out 90% of the family because Pam's family does not like seafood. I would love it. But I mean, here's what we have. We have ham, dollar roll sandwiches. We have wings from Wingstop. Like that's about, we have like that's about it. Like we have the basics, but it's good. It's good. Don't get me wrong. I could eat wings all night. But yeah, I hear all these people have all these like, ethnic and fancy foods on Christmas Eve. And I'm like, wow.
Amy in the chat just said Mike does the 7 tacos and might not be wrong.
I could, soft, hard, I could do a double decker. I could come up with 7 I got a by the way, and the listener sent me a Taco Bell ornament on my tree behind there too. So it's on there. Scott, would you go for the Feast of the Seven Fishes?
Katie has me. So Mike, I teased before the show like how hungry I was, remember? Like and Katie just comes in like rolling all these like fishes for this awesome meal. And like I'm just thinking about how hungry I am and how much I want to be at Katie's for Christmas Eve now, because that sounds so awesome. I love it.
It does. It does. Do you remember like a gift from childhood though? Like something that you wanted that never got, or something that just blew you away that you weren't expecting?
I mean, so I loved American Girl dolls growing up. So usually Christmas, I would get either a different doll or like some outfit or accessory for it. But there was one Christmas that it snowed. So it was like the one white Christmas I've ever had in my entire life, actually. But as a result, my grandparents couldn't make the drive over. They live about a half hour away from me. And so, wasn't safe for them to drive. So I had a second Christmas the next day at their house. And the way it worked out was that most of my presents, my mom was hiding at their place. So I got 2 days of presents, which was basically all American Girl stuff, which for a 7-year-old little girl was like the most amazing thing ever. And then my birthday is in January. It usually overlaps marathon weekend. And so usually what would end up happening is I would write a Christmas list, 5, 6 things or what have you. I would get, 4 to 5 of those things. And then the last thing would be a holdover until my birthday in January. So anybody that has a December, January birthday feels me on that.
No, that Mallory's birthday is January 2nd. That's exactly the story, right? Like she just gives us like one massive list. And so, I mean, now she's 14. She knows how the game's played, right? If we come to the end, and it's again, she gets presents from us. She gets presents from her grandparents. She gets presents from my parents. It's like one of those things, it just goes for like a day and a half. But then, once we hit like the 27th and, Christmas is really over, like we're not going anywhere else. Nobody else is coming over here anymore. Like we're done, but then she knows, well, next weekend, get this. So, well, I guess it's going to be for my birthday. She's kind of figured that out. So, I mean, I kind of feel bad, but she's spoiled. So whatever. My birthday was Thanksgiving. So
Katie, I'm just curious, when is your birthday? Is it going to be over marathon weekend this year?
It will not be. It's January the 12th. So I will be back in Maryland. Unfortunately, it's later in the week. But the marathon and the half marathon have overlapped my birthday multiple times. I ran my 10th marathon on my 26th birthday. So that was a great time of the year,
Man,
that'd be sweet.
Well, hey, we'll be together here in less than 3 weeks. Can't wait. It's going to be fun.
Yes.
Again, I can wait.
I'm ready to get down there.
I hope you both have a happy holiday season, and I will see you all in a few weeks.
You too. You stay safe and keep yourself healthy, and we'll see your smiling face here in about 2.5 weeks.
Definitely. See you all.
All right. Happy holidays.
See you, Katie.
See you later. Bye-bye. Okay. All righty. 407-413-9395. 407-413-9395. Give us a call. I got to say, though, real quick to your story, because you reminded me of one. 4 grandkids. I think I told this one before. My grandma wrapped switches one year for us because she said we were bad. So switches, I don't know if you know this, but they're just sticks like from the yard. So we all thought we were getting this like real cool toy. And it was the last present. She made us wait. Like, the last present was always like the present, right?
Right.
Dude, we opened them and everybody starts crying, dude, because they're sticks. Grandma's like, you guys got switches because you were bad. And my grandma was like, so nice. Like, I couldn't believe she said that. And we're like, dang, if grandma said we're like bad, we were bad because grandma spoiled all of us. But yeah, and I guess they took a picture of us back then. And then I remember my older cousin and I, we were about 2 years apart. We got, This is so like late 70s, early 80s. We got football Cardinal, because back then we had the NFL Cardinals.
Yep.
The Arizona Cardinals were in St. Louis. We got football Cardinal like jog suits, and I mean, we thought we were the stuff, man. And my grandpa made us tool belts because my grandpa was a construction worker. So he made us these like leather tool belts with like little bitty hammers, like nails in the pouch, and the little tape measure. So we had on these like velour, like like cardinal red, it almost colored my stocking, like cardinal warm-up suits with a tool belt on, and we're standing there like, yeah,
Your hot stuff right there.
like in 1980. But we thought we were the stuff. I got
Yeah,
find
you can't make the last gift like a bad gift, you know?
Oh, no,
like,
dude. But you can't play with kids' emotions like that, man.
That's why the psych out was kind of great though by my mom. The psych out was good. But even like today, like my dad will like even like last year or something, like I opened something and he was like, yeah, you might want to open that now.
Oh my gosh. All right, we have our next call. Hey, who's joining us?
Hey guys, it's Brandon from New Hampshire. How are you?
Hey, good. How's it? How are things up in New Hampshire? You guys gonna get hit by this polar vortex? We're supposed to get down to 32 below wind chill on Thursday. Ouch.
We just got about 18 inches of snow yesterday, so I think we're good for the next week or so. Thank goodness that part of it's over. Next week we're looking at another possible foot and a half storm.
Man, that's why you go to Florida.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was just in Florida a week and a half ago. I'll tell you, it was 80 to 81 every day. We were in Disney World and 65 at night.
Oh,
We came back home and it's like, wow, that's a rude awakening.
no kidding. Yeah, I know that's a marathon weekend. Scott's probably got it worse than I. Well, we all three get it, right? Like when we get home from marathon weekend, it's the worst, right? Because I mean, when I get off that plane in St. Louis and it's like January 12th, you got to go find your car in the parking lot. You're like, I can't breathe. Because a lot of times I don't bring my heavy coat because I don't want to carry it, the whole time I'm in Florida. So I leave my heavy coat in the car. So I'm usually like in a jacket, sometimes the wind chill is like 0 and I can't remember where I parked. They're like, where'd you park, sir?
It's that terrible walk of shame, as we call it.
That's terrible. Anyway, so give us your story. So what's your tradition? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, so growing up in New Hampshire, I grew up with my grandparents, and it was always a tradition on Christmas Eve you get one present to open. And 90% of the time, it was always pajamas. That's kind of what this Christmas tradition was. And you get up there early in the morning, nobody can open presents. So my grandfather got up and had his cup of coffee. You were allowed to get your stockings. So your stockings were laid out, they were set apart from me and my two brothers, and, tear apart your stockings, go through it, eat all the candy you want, blah, 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 do what you want. But if Grandpa hasn't had his cup of coffee, don't even expect him to go near that Christmas tree.
So did you feel like he dragged his feet intentionally a little bit
Absolutely. 100%. I'm not a kid of the 70s myself, too. He did it on purpose. He knew what he was doing.
See, that's what I would do too. I'd exert my power just a little bit, at least for a good 10 or 15 minutes, because that would be an eternity for a kid on Christmas morning.
Oh, absolutely. And I will tell you a couple of Christmases that are most memorable to me. I remember being about 6 years old, and Teddy Ruxpin was all the craze back in the day. And that was my last gift that year, was open up that Teddy Ruxpin doll that had the little cassette tapes.
The cassette tape. Yes. I love that thing.
If you still had that thing, I bet you'd be worth a couple $100.
I think I do.
Do you really?
Absolutely. Teddy and Grubby, that was my childhood. And the very next year, I remember being 7 years old, and this was my big gift, was, you remember the original kick scooters, not razor scooters, but the ones that had air-filled rubber tires with the hand brakes, and you'd stick your foot on the back tire and wear out the sole of your shoe?
I think so.
And scooters were the first ones.
Yeah. But I'm back to the Teddy Ruxpin thing, though. I remember those things were hot. Now, I never had one of those. But I mean, think about it. I mean, basically what you were buying was like a kind of like a personal little handheld animatronic. I mean, the eyes moved, the mouth moved to the, somehow they got some signals into that cassette, that gave it.
Yeah, almost to the beat of the music.
Yeah. I mean, those things. But here's the thing. Okay, here's another story. So real quick. This was another board game. Now we got one Christmas. It was called Mr. Mouth. Do you remember a game called Mr. See, I'm older than you guys, I think, but it was a game where there were 4, because I like Hungry Hippos kind of. Okay. So it was 4 players, you know, like on the cardinal points, right? Northeast, southwest, like you're 4 players, and each person had like a hand. And the hands were like little catapults, but like you have poker chips that you would flick and it would shoot them. But this thing in the middle looked like a Pac-Man head. I think they made it because it looked like Pac-Man. And he would just like his mouth would just go wonk, wonk. But he like spun around in a circle in the middle. So you had to time it. Like when he came by, like when he opened his mouth, like when he was facing you and his mouth opened up, that's when you had to get your colored chip in. So you had to wait till he was like, here he comes. Boom. And you had to shoot your chip. You know, and once you got rid of like your 5 chips first, you won. It was a great game. Well, anyway, I don't know how this happened. We got that game for Christmas. And then, so we played it, my sister and I. And then I think it was like Christmas night or like the 26th or something. We're sleeping in our room and we hear this, aren't you? Dude, we freaked out because it sounded like a monster was coming, like, you know, in our bed. We're like, dude, there's something that we hear, and it wouldn't stop. It was a what happened was somehow that Mr. Mouth got turned on, and in the box, it was going, and it was lifting up the box lid. And I mean, it's when you're
It was
like
coming alive.
oh man, when you're a kid, dude, I was like, oh, we're dead. Like there's a monster. I mean, there was literally like a monster in the bed. My mom, when she came in and got that thing, she's like, oh, it's just Mr. Mouth. But I was like, take the batteries out of it, please. Yeah. But yeah, it was one of those toys. I totally forgot about that. But yeah, we were so excited to have it. I don't think we ever played it after that. But yeah, look, you gotta look up Mr. Mouth.
Real quick.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Christmas became Krampus real quick.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
all of a sudden
yeah.
we're being punished.
Yeah. Yeah. We I think that was probably the last time we ever played it because I was scarred. But it was
You played it like one night and that was it.
yeah, Mr. Mouth. It was a good commercial too.
I'm gonna find the commercial and send it to you later.
I think it was.
You'll have some like flashbacks of like nightmares, you know.
Oh man.
If you don't have your
man.
I want to send it to you like in the middle of the night, but you always send it to your notifications.
My phone goes on do not disturb at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And that's why automatically.
Hey Brandon, this is a true story tonight. So like I was getting ready for the podcast and I was like, I think I want to wear a hat tonight. And I was looking at my Disney hats and I purposely wear the one I'm wearing tonight because I know you have it. And I saw your comment that you got a backup. So smart move by you by getting a backup.
Oh, absolutely. When we were down there, not last week, but the week before, I saw that it was still available in the Disney store over there at Springs. I was like, I've got to have a secondary because, you know, I'm going to wear this thing out. Yeah. I got that one, and I absolutely bought the one in Memento Mori's. I bought their new Haunted Mansion one where it looks like it's half worn. What a gorgeous hat. And walking around the parks, people only said, where'd you get the hat? That hat looks incredible. That's my new secondary hat. So I got 2 of the statue hats and now my Memento Mori hat from Haunted Mansion. Of course, that's my favorite ride.
Love
but
it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Scott. Love it.
I mean, you got to do that though. Sometimes like, so I have like a 50th polo that you can't ever find. Like very rarely will you find one. It'll be like in a size small. And my friend Beth, who's down there a lot. I mean, she lives down there. Anytime she sees it, like she messages me and we said, like, do you want me to get it? And now it's just like by default, yeah, you buy it in my size because I'll take 3 backups of that thing. I don't even care, you know. But like, and there's another hat too. So Mike, do you remember like years ago they had this white hat with like the Disney D? You know what I mean? Like it was like that.
I was just gonna say that. Like they used to come out with almost like an annual Nike hat. And they don't do that anymore.
No, but the white cap with the blue, it was like a blue Disney D was my favorite. The problem is it's white, so it got dirty so quick. So like I ended up like sweating through it and like having to toss. I was like, dang, I wish I had like 5 backups of that hat. Like it was so good. So smart move by getting the backup.
Absolutely, got to have the backup, buddy.
Hey, we'll have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we'll talk to you because we won't be on for the next 3 weeks because of marathon and New Year's and Christmas. But we'll talk to you in the new year.
Absolutely, guys. We'll be talking soon.
All right. Stay safe. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Oh, man. When you said that, like 3 weeks till Marathon Sunday.
Hey, man.
At this point, man, I'm just going to.
You know what they say? That the hay's in the barn.
Yeah. I mean, in the barn, kudos to those. Like, I've seen so many like mock dopies.
I know, dude. I had to quit looking.
Like,
I didn't
I'm just like, you all are crazy. Like, okay.
I saw too many. I'm like, these people like 20 miles.
Like, I just can't. Like, and props to you. I know that gives you confidence going in, right? That's a big confident boost, morale booster. You know, you're ready to go. You're gonna get it. Where me and Mike are kind of like on the fence, like I don't know if we're gonna get it done.
I know.
But so good for you on that. But man, I just can't.
I know.
Can't do that.
Well, here's how I look at it. Okay, right. I've done the mock dopies in the past, and like
my first one, I did a mock dopey. I made sure I did it. Yep,
I did. But here's the thing: like everybody else is doing these mock dopies, right? My mock dopey will be in 3 weeks. You know, like everybody's
exactly
survived it this weekend. So I mean, I'm just saving it for.
Yeah, I know. What's the difference if I did it now versus 3 weeks from now? Yep.
Exactly what I was thinking when everybody's posting this. I'm like, well, I mean, they all made it
Yeah,
today.
I'll do mine in 3 weeks.
That's exactly what I was thinking. That's
Hopefully.
I would think a lot. Anyway, over next caller on the line. Hey, who's joining us?
Hello, this is Alora
Hey, Laura.
from Seattle.
Hey, how's Seattle tonight? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Our holiday tradition is to go to the Nutcracker, and we're actually on our way home from the Nutcracker.
That's a great holiday tradition. What's your favorite part of the Nutcracker?
My favorite part of the Nutcracker is, I guess, when all the little kids die.
Nice.
Very
Nice. Okay, so I got to ask you, what are you hoping Santa brings you here in about 6 days? Because he's up in the North Pole getting ready to make the big flight here soon. What are you looking for?
Well, I guess I'm hoping for a camera, like an underwater camera, walkie-talkie, new shoes, and a spy kit.
Nice.
That's a list. I like it.
Hey, I could use that list because you know what? I love new shoes. An underwater camera. We're going on a podcast cruise here in July. We're going on a Disney cruise. I could use that when I go swimming in the ocean. I've never had one of those. And then you said,
I'm going.
You're going with us?
I'm going on that cruise too.
Listen to okay.
That's awesome.
Okay, here's the deal. I don't need a waterproof camera anymore. I'll just you take the pictures.
As long as Santa comes through. As
well,
long
if
as
Santa comes through, but I mean, I'm sure she's a good girl, and I mean, I have confidence Santa will probably come through, right? Now, the funny thing about walkie-talkies, I asked for the same thing when I was about your age. They were awesome because I had a friend across the street. We used to talk all the time. They were awesome.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's like I mean, back in the day, we didn't have cell phones.
Oh, hey guys, it's Laura's mom.
Hey, how's it going, Laura? What's going on?
Good. I wanted to thank Scott and his wife. I got them in the ornament exchange and got wonderful ornaments from them this week.
Oh my God. So I've been meaning to email you back. So like it was kind of Friday night, we ended up like doing this like overnight getaway. Then we're like been doing like Christmas shopping all weekend. So I told Mike even before the show started, like I got to respond to this great email that I got. And I just want to tell you, your email was very touching.
Totally fine.
Your email was so touching to me. It meant a lot to read that your story and that history, like how you went to Bronner's the one time with your mom. Like I was like actually checking into a hotel when I was reading it, and like I started like crying at the front desk. They're like, "Sir, it's okay. Our hotel's nice." But
sir, you can have a suite.
Yeah. That was sweet though.
I remember you lost your mom a few years ago, so I figured that would probably remind you. Memories with mom are always special.
They absolutely are. So I hope you like the ornaments. You had like the soccer ball and like the sewing one, right? Like it was just funny. Like we're walking through the store because you've been to Bronner, so you know, like that is like, Mike, you got to come to Michigan and come to Bronner sometime.
I know because
like,
you showed me some pictures.
It's like the biggest Christmas store in the world. I mean, it's huge, and they have all these ornaments, like anything you can think of. And I'm like looking through, I'm like, man, how have we not seen a sewing ornament? Like it's blowing my mind. And then as we're getting close to the checkout, boom, there it was. And I was like, this is perfect. I have to get it for Janet. It's so awesome.
Yes, thank you. They are totally awesome.
Thank you, Scott.
My daughter.
This is why, I mean, I was talking to my wife about this earlier this week, and it's just, we are so lucky. It's so cool to have something like podcasting where none of us probably, we probably all would have gone to Walt Disney World, but we would just, pass each other going down Main Street, never known to talk to each other. Mm-hmm. But we've made these connections and we can talk to people all over the world. And it just makes me so happy to hear these stories. It's just, it is really like an extended family. And this is what the season's all about. This makes me so happy.
It really is amazing.
Yes, it is amazing.
Very cool.
I'm really excited to know you all are going to be cruising this summer too. That's really exciting. So I can't wait for that.
Yes. I know, we're so excited too, and it'll be our first time as a family going to Walt Disney World after the cruise as well. So we're pretty jazzed. It's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome.
And I saw just today there's going to be a special, actually on Christmas Eve, I think, on the National Geographic Channel or maybe on Disney Plus, how they built the Wish. So to get us excited for the podcast cruise, I saw it just this afternoon. They're going to do a special.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I hope it comes to Disney Plus. I thought it would be on National Geographic, so hopefully it comes.
Yeah.
Well, we'll let you guys get the next caller.
Can I ask you one more question though? Because I just got to know. I just got to know because I'm
Scott,
such a huge resort guy. Are you staying on property after the cruise? Like, your first time going to Walt Disney World, what resort did you choose? I'm so curious.
Oh yeah, I think we chose the Caribbean resort.
Nice.
That's where we stayed our first time. That's awesome.
I think me too. Yeah.
Well, I think Mike booked it for us, and he said that was a good one. I mean, we know pretty much nothing, although I'll be there for springtime surprise, but just by myself, so not as fun staying at Pop. So as a family, we thought we'd do something a little nicer, and we really wanted the Skyliner.
Oh, you're gonna love it because you're in the middle of everything there. Because really, you have the Riviera adjacent, so you can go get the good breakfast. You can get the Madame Croque. But just don't eat them every day. Not good for you.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got the Skyliner and the pool. Pool's awesome. Caribbean Beach. I mean, it's like swimming in Pirates of the Caribbean. And I mean, the rooms are great. The dining's good.
And what I'm thinking, Mike, like it's a great transition coming from the cruise because then you're still on
Yeah,
island time. You know.
You know what? I've done that.
Yes,
on cruises.
exactly.
I do the same. Actually, I've done it before the cruise because I just want the tropical theme to be like the entire time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You'll be on island time, Mon.
I
Still.
love that. Such a good idea.
Totally.
We're going to bring so many things.
Oh, you're gonna have so much fun. Well, hey, I hope Santa is good to you guys and he swings by Seattle and brings all the toys.
Oh, I think he will.
Good deal.
You're a good kid.
All right,
Okay,
well, hey, thanks for
guys.
giving us a call.
Bye.
That made my night. I love
Thanks.
hearing from the
That
kids.
was
That's
awesome.
All right, Merry Christmas. Talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
How cool is that?
I love that. I love that she called that, and like Alora, that was a cute girl. Like that's one of my favorite calls of the whole year, Mike. This is this is the last live show of the year, and we've had like thousands of great calls. With that one, like I mean, it's front and center, right? Because we're thinking about it was our last call, but that was a really great one.
That was a great one. All right, speaking of calls, we have one of our callers for the year. We have Alfred on the line. Alfred, hey, Merry Christmas. What's going on?
Hey, Mike. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Scott.
Merry Christmas, Alfred.
So what's going on? What's your holiday tradition? What do you got?
Well, I think I mentioned this last year. Christmas Eve is usually where we have some kind of fish dish. Usually if my mom cooks, it's usually shrimp scampi over rice.
I like that. I love Elizabeth's father always makes shrimp scampi on Christmas Eve too.
Yeah, it's delicious. But this year, kind of breaking a little bit from the tradition. We're going out to eat.
You going to a Chinese restaurant? Or
we're gonna go to Chinese.
No,
instead.
It's like that Christmas Story.
Yeah. I've done that a few times in my life. So my sister found a place, in one of the nicer towns in the area. So we're going to go there. Christmas Day this year, we're doing something different. We're doing a brunch.
Oh, I like that.
I like that idea.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to get my mom to go to my cousin's house because I haven't seen, them much. So hopefully we'll get to go there.
That'd be good. It's good to see family if you can.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And in the process, I'm going to be freezing here.
Yeah. There's been, and I think I mentioned this on one of the shows a couple of weeks, maybe it was Mike in the Midwest or something, but I said like the last couple of years has been like 70, and I mean, while it's great to be able to wear shorts for Christmas in the Midwest, like it doesn't feel like Christmas. Dude, I should not have said anything because it's going to be so cold this year. Like they're saying it might not even get to 10 degrees on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So
but it's like everywhere. Like Nashville is going to be cold. Florida is going to be, it's everywhere.
Yeah. I was going to go to Florida for our bowl game in Tampa, and it's going to be like in the 40s for a high. I'm like, oh man, I'm glad I didn't buy that ticket.
Yeah, it's going to be torture.
Yeah, no thanks. I mean,
and the best is I hate cold weather now.
Oh, me too. The older I get, the more I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You should see me. I'm wearing sweaters and heavy sweatshirts, and I'm still cold.
Yeah, I used to always be in shorts. Those days are long gone. I mean, I talked about this on Mike in the Midwest. I got a pair of warm boots for my birthday, and that was the greatest gift of ever. Like, if I'd have gotten warm boots 10 years ago, I'd have been like, oh, wah, wah. But these are the greatest because I hate being cold.
Yeah, like Saturday, Christmas Eve, it's going to be 26 degrees for the high.
Dude, no thanks.
And I'm looking at it now. It says 20 to 30 mile per hour winds.
Yeah.
That means we're going to have wind chills 0 or below, probably.
Yeah, they're saying ours is going to be 32 degrees below 0.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have 50 mile
an
an hour
hour
winds.
Christmas Day is 28 degrees.
Oof.
Yeah, I would just go to Florida at that point,
Yeah.
even though it's not going to be much warmer. Is the problem?
It won't be as painful.
Yeah, it won't be as painful.
You know what though? There's something about Florida cold though. Like when it's 45 or 50 down there, I can't get warm the rest of the day. Once I get cold, I'm done. It's hard. Okay, so let me ask you this, Alfred, real quick. So from your childhood, like what's the one gift you either got that was awesome or one gift you never got that you still haven't gotten over that you wish you would have gotten?
Definitely the one I got. The Atari 5200.
Oh, dude, you got the deluxe one.
Yeah. We wanted it so bad. And Christmas Day, there it was.
Man. So was it one of those things like, okay, let me ask you this too. Were your presents wrapped under the tree or unwrapped? Because some of my friends, like it just came, like stuff was unwrapped under the tree from Santa. Like it was just there. Our stuff was always wrapped.
Yeah, ours was wrapped.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man,
and the games, I loved Super Breakout and
Yep.
Pac-Man, and I remember one time I did so well with Pac-Man, I got the key level, the top level, and then you get to a certain point and it never ends the game unless you die.
Yeah,
I played for hours.
I know. I played Space Invaders forever. And I remember one year I got a Frogger by Parker Brothers. I still remember because that was like a different, like this for the 2600, but those cartridges were shaped differently. That one in Star Wars. And man, I mean, back then Scott, the same way he got the games for his Nintendo was that, when you were a kid of our generation, like when you got that on Christmas, you would play that for the solid 2 weeks. That's all you did, for 2 weeks. You play that from the moment you got up till you went to bed at 2:00 in the morning. It was insane. God, those are
so Alfred, Mike knows this because I sent him and Wade like a video maybe like a couple months ago, but I was just hanging out at my parents' house and my brother's loves his video games and all that. We still have our Atari and he still has it hooked up to like a tube TV and everything. Nice. So like we play Atari all the time when we go over there. He's got like 75 games and all that. Like we have Atari tournaments. Like we geek out over Atari, but it's so awesome when I go over there because he's taking good care of all those machines. He's got a backup too. Speaking of, we were talking about backup hats. He's got backup Ataris and all that and controllers. So I didn't really live that moment when I was a kid because like my brother's a little bit older than me, but yeah, I love Atari. It's so awesome. Man.
I lived it.
Yeah.
And it was.
I wish I still had it, to be honest.
Yeah,
I would be playing it.
I have the emulators, like they're called like Atari Flashback 7s or 8s, and they have like 100 games.
So
but it's not
those
the
are
same.
fake.
Yeah, they're not as cool. Actually, I went to real quick. I went to a store here. There's a store called Vintage Stock. I think it's like national. I think it's more in the South though. But they sell this kind of retro stuff, and I bought a real Pac-Man cartridge, an Asteroids cartridge, and a Defender cartridge. I don't have an Atari 2600, but I just like the aesthetics of like the art on the cartridge itself, and I have them sitting on a shelf. Actually, I should bring them in here. But I just like actually holding it. It's like $3. I was like, oh man, I want a Pac-Man cartridge from back in the day.
That's so awesome.
And I just remember playing that because it'd be like bonk, bonk. It had the most like unique sound. It wasn't the Pac-Man sound like from the arcade. It was just like bonk,
Right.
bonk, bonk, bonk. But man, we
Yeah.
didn't care. We played we played that so much. That and
So
Pitfall.
much. There's this
Pitfall.
game called Superman. Like my brother, like he would
You had to time it just right. It was like on a clock.
Yeah.
or
So
something.
my brother, like, you know, like on YouTube, you can find like speed trials of like people
speed
beating
runs.
like Super Mario Brothers in like 4 minutes or whatever. My brother, he just knows like how to. I mean, he can go 10 years without playing it, and he knows how to beat Superman in like 30 seconds. It's unbelievable. Like you know what? On Christmas Day, I'm gonna ask him to do it, Mike, and I'll film it for you. All right,
Dude, I was because I had that game and I was terrible at because I remember like you were either good at that game or you weren't. Because I had a friend that was super good at that game and I played it all the time and I was terrible. I could not
The
play.
story is he would watch my mom and dad play because they would play it too, you know, and he would just like watch them. And like he just learned like all the screens and all the combinations. He was like, okay, I know the order now. And then he asked, like, can I play it? You know, after not having played it one time, after just watching them, and boom, 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 he did it like right away. It's unbelievable.
I had that game and I was terrible at it, and it just drove me nuts because it was my friend across the street, Ryan. He could jam at that game.
Yeah,
he had it too, so he practiced, I guess. Anyway, well, Alfred, hey, we hope you have a Merry Christmas and
Merry Christmas, Alfred.
We'll talk to you in the new year. All right, take care. We'll talk to you in the new year. Have a good one.
All right.
Stay safe.
You too. Happy holidays.
Thanks.
Yeah, happy holidays.
All right, 407
Atari, man.
395. I could talk Atari all night, man. Because I mean, that was kind of because I remember when I got my Atari. But here's the thing: like when you're on the other side of it, like we are at this point. Like I know my dad was an electronics geek. Like I didn't know this when I was a kid, but he bought all that stuff for himself. Like
yeah. Well, that's why I think that's why I was saying my brother was watching them. I think my parents bought the Atari for them, and then because he's a little bit young, he's like a few years younger than maybe a couple years younger than you. So you guys are very similar in age. But so I think my parents had, and he would just like watch, and then finally he asked, like, "Can I play?" And then he just became obsessed with it at that moment. And like, yeah, like I said, we still have the original system and controllers, the paddles, everything, man. It's when you come to Michigan, you'll have to come over and play some original Atari with us.
Yeah, because I mean, I love the aesthetic of that. And eventually, I am going to get like I want a place in my house where I have a Commodore 64 set up with like the you know, not an emulator, like the real thing, and an Atari 2600 with cartridges.
It's so much better. I mean, the emulator is good, right? Because it takes you back in time. Like you can play the games. There's something about the original. System,
the aesthetics of plugging in a cartridge, you know,
so good. You just got to find the proper TV that can allow the hookup.
I know, like I want a tube TV, you know, I want the whole deal. All right, we have our next call. Who's joining us?
Hi, it's Rhonda Lee from Nova Scotia.
Rhonda Lee, Merry Christmas. Thank you so very much for the 2 ornaments. They're going to be here forever. I appreciate it so much.
Oh, you are very welcome. I was so excited when I got your name from Michelle.
I was so excited when I saw the envelope because I knew exactly who those were from. And I waited I waited until the girls got home to open those too. We had the 2 packages and I said, okay, here's the junk mail that we got out of the mailbox. Now check this out. We got something from Canada and we got something from Australia. Let's like take your time because we're never going to get stuff like this again, probably.
That's what I call a good mail day.
That's what I said. Exactly. It was so funny. Oh my God. It was such a good day. So what's going on up there? So what are some of your traditions?
So ours is we do a Christmas Eve barbecue in the fireplace at my parents' place.
Outside?
No, we do it inside.
Okay. Okay. So you see a barbecue. Now that's interesting. I
love it.
I like it though.
It is we've probably done it for about 25 years, and it is one of my favorite traditions. And my husband has actually flat out said that he will not go to my parents' place if they're not doing the barbecue.
Hey, smart man.
I like this guy.
Tell him he's exactly right.
Yeah. There was one year I was living about 5 hours away from them, and they decided to do vegetarian Chinese food. And I told my parents, I said, if you ever do this again, I am not coming home for Christmas.
So were you like terribly bad that year? Like, I mean, that's the equivalent of my grandma giving us all switches. I mean, that's no, like, I mean, do you not want people to come next year?
It does not matter how much barbecue sauce you put on a walnut, it will not taste like a spare rib.
That's okay, right there, Scott. That was the quote of the year too.
That is the quote of the year. I mean,
put that on a shirt.
I'm actually going to write it down and get it framed.
So no matter how much barbecue sauce you put on a walnut, yeah, that's a good.
I'm actually going to put that on a plaque and mail that to Mike for your Christmas present this year.
Hang it right there on the wall, right there. The Be Our Guest Podcast Hall of Fame of quotes.
Yeah.
And Ricky has most of them because they're so stupid. Like Ricky will say something.
Nice to Ricky.
I love Ricky, but she'll say stuff. I'm like, did you say that out loud? I mean, usually it's in a text. I'm like, seriously, delete that. Anyways. Now, are you guys like, so do you like growing up, did you get like a gift that you remember that was super special or something that you're like, I never got a Nintendo. I mean, and we talked about, I got an Atari, but I never got a Nintendo because I had a Commodore 64 and my dad knew that I could, God, this is so terrible, but I had a modem and you could download software, which wasn't legal, but nobody cared back in the day. So you just go on these boards, you could download all the games you wanted and they were basically free. So my dad was like, well, I'm not getting you a Nintendo because those games are like $50. You know, like every time you want a new game, so I never got one, and I'm still kind of bitter.
I would be. I love Nintendo, but
anyway. I never got one. But it's Rhonda Lee. Any like special gift you got or did not get?
For me, it was a Cabbage Patch doll when I was probably about 10.
Yes, I was with my mom when she got one for my younger sister, who's 4 years younger than me, at Target. And I remember, because I mean, I couldn't have been that old. Like I had to have been probably 7 or 8. I just remember like a guy came out of the back of the store, you know, like I guess it was the stock room. Now looking at it, you know, like back in the toy department with boxes. And I just remember ladies attacking him. And my mom was one of them. Because they had those they were like in yellow boxes, right? Like kind of about a foot tall. And my mom got one. And I don't know if she assaulted somebody. I don't know. Like I can't remember the details, but I do remember like ladies assaulting this guy. Because I think he only had like 8 boxes. And there was a mob. Those things. Were they as crazy up where you are in Canada? Because I mean, down here, I mean, seriously, it was a nightmare. I mean, it was crazy at our Target when she got one.
Yeah, my mom had to get 2 because my younger sister is about 2 years younger than me, and she had to fight people off to get these 2 dolls.
I just remember, like, I remember the scene, like, because, you know, it's one of those things, like, you're just going to Target, you're going to look at the Matchbox cars, you know, like, as, you know, like a 7-year-old boy, you know, you're going to look at the baseball gloves, you're going to look at the baseball cards. And then my mom goes down this aisle, like 100 ladies. And this poor, you know, looking back, I thought it was a man, right? But now I know it was probably some sucker, like 16-year-old kid. They're like, here, go put these on a shelf, you know, and like fed them to the sharks. You know, he's probably making $2 an hour, you know, like 1979 or something. Oh, poor kid. Yeah. So do you still have the doll? Is there anything you hung on to?
Oh, it might still be at my parents' place. I'm not sure. And both mine and my sister's dolls were like identical. Even though they were supposed to be individual, the only way we could tell them apart was mine accidentally got run over, so there was something rattling in her head.
Well, that's not good. Did they had they had the same name though, even because didn't they have like a little birth? I remember they had like a little birth certificate card or something or paper.
Oh, I don't even remember what her name was. I think it might have been like Angelique or something. It was interesting.
She got ran over. So yeah, that's not good.
So Rhonda Lee, this is some great barbecue conversation. You know, when you're over there next week having barbecue, just bring up the Cabbage Patch dolls and like go on a hunt in the house looking for it.
Yeah, totally. That sounds like a great Christmas right there.
Yeah, exactly.
So now,
well, gentlemen, I look forward to seeing you guys in a couple of weeks at Marathon Weekend.
So you're much more ready than we are, correct? Just tell us yes and have a happy holiday.
I will let you know on Tuesday. I am attempting Moscow.
You're there. Okay, well, you're trying it, so you're ahead of us. Okay, so you're good.
Yeah.
But I will call my Tuesday run after 20 miles if I have to. So
Okay, well, good luck with that, and remember, you're gonna make it either way. So we're all gonna get it. We're gonna get us all there somehow, or at least try.
I don't know if I will, but
Exactly.
I'll try at least.
We're gonna do what we can. We can't make miracles happen, but we'll try to make miracles happen. Let's just say that. All right. Well, hey, have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you both.
All right,
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, take care, Rondalee. Bye-bye.
Bye.
My first sweep is coming, Mike. I'm finally gonna learn what the parade bus is like. I feel like 3 weeks.
Well,
from today.
we had that call last week, I believe, talking
Yeah.
about, it wasn't necessarily the nightmare that I thought that it could be. I mean, I don't know. I've always pictured that it's like a bus of like tears, right?
Yeah.
That it's just it's terrible. I'm sure there are a lot of tears on those buses at some points, because if you actually did train it up and it was unexpected,
Right.
that'd be super disappointing. But I mean, I think some people know that it's, life gets busy sometimes, but you also just want to go down and have a vacation and make the most of it and get out there and give it a go. I mean, I think that's what it is.
Are you, so there's a great comment in the chat about the Christmas wish from Jason. If you could replace one quick service location with a Taco Bell, which would it be? Can you help Jason out and fill his Christmas wish?
I know. I was trying to think about that. And I don't know, because
you like it? I mean, you had to get rid of a place. That's tough, right? Yeah.
Well, like, they used to have the McDonald's fry carts, or at least like a McDonald's location in every park. Like, it was the refreshment port at Epcot. It was they sold fries over in Frontierland at that Golden Nugget cart by Pecos Bills. So basically, where would I put a Taco Bell? Like, strategically, you know what? The studios could really use a Taco Bell. Let's be honest. Like, they need a little good quick service. I mean, I do like the Buffalo, the ABC commissary. That's all I really need. But you got to have Taco Bell. Like, I fiend Taco Bell towards the end of my trip, because like I have it a lot and then I don't have it in the world. So maybe I don't know, maybe a Taco Bell in Toy Story Land.
Wow. What do you do when you have like the Buffalo chicken sandwich that we love, like that, that with the steak fries, and a Taco Bell, which you can get anywhere, outside of Walt Disney World? Are you ever going to go to that Taco Bell when you're at the studio?
I probably won't, because that is my rule, right? My rule on vacation is, and I try to tell my family this, and they don't always stick to it, because I did this too, like when we went to cheerleading competitions or anytime we're out of town. Yeah. I will not eat at a place that we have at home when I'm out of town.
That's a rule of mine too. Yeah,
that's an opportunity to try something new. Where my girls, there's McDonald's. I'm like, dude, there's McDonald's everywhere. Right. Let's go to,
even though I have gone to the McDonald's at Walt Disney World before.
We have.
With you even.
I'll be honest, like what I've been telling my wife about, because we've been talking about our trip, how we're going to meet up and stuff. And I've been telling her about how we're going to have the pub sub. Like on Wednesday, we're hitting up Publix to get all, get my goober, my buns, so I can make my little sandwich every morning for the, to eat on the bus, to get ready for the race. But I said, as we're buying the groceries, the water, the sodas, the goober, stuff like that, the buns, we're going to get pub subs. And I'm like, I am so excited to get a pub sub. I said, that might be my favorite thing I'm looking forward to, like a top 10 at least.
At least.
So, oh my gosh, I can't wait. Yeah, that'll be fun. So, well, I think we're going to call it a night and wrap up the year for the open lines. Man, it's been fun. I'm glad that we could do these all year, though. It's been a lot of fun having the both of us here to take the calls. I love this.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun. I know I missed some Sundays, right? Because I like to travel, so some Sundays and you're not with me. So kudos to you for still running the show, right? I mean, this is your machine, this is what you do. So I appreciate you still doing it, even when I'm not here. I love listening to those episodes. I do listen, Mike. When I'm not here, like I love listening to Big Thunder Mountain. that was awesome. Hilarious.
We got to do more of that. I think we should try to record some stuff while we're down over Marathon Weekend and turn into a show. Just little snippets here and there, because we're going to be there for 5 days.
And I've heard a lot of good feedback. So even, years ago, before like I even knew you, those are some of my favorite episodes to listen to, when you would play like the Kim Possible break or whatever, like in between segments. Like,
yeah, those were always the most popular shows. Actually, they're kind of a pain in the butt, because like I got to remember to do it, but I do want to do it like while we're on attractions or just hanging out, just getting thoughts, maybe in the corrals or, here and there, because that would be a fun show.
Those are fun episodes.
Yeah, so we got to work together to get some of those while we're down there, because we'll have a good long time. That'll be fun.
Yep, sounds good. But yeah, I love doing the Sunday night shows. Thanks for everyone for listening, and I hope everyone has a happy holiday and a happy new year, and we'll see you in 2023.
All righty, same here. So you guys stay safe, and don't forget, our show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Of course, thanks for all your support here in 2022. Couldn't do any of this without your support, letting us book those trips over at themagicforless.com. So if you're headed to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or even taking an Adventures by Disney trip here in 2023, we would love to help you plan that vacation for no additional cost to you. And you get first-class service from the time you fill out that quote form. And if you mention the show, it comes to me. So it's you and I working together on that trip, and I sure appreciate that. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link as you shop here in this last part of 2022 and into 2023. It really does help support everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And finally, thank you to the patrons who reach out and physically, support our show each month. It really does help pay the bills, because the more listeners we get, and we actually are still growing even after almost 15 years, it does cost more as we gain listeners, because it takes more bandwidth and hosting costs go up. But that's okay, because you heard tonight, the family gets bigger. We have the opportunity to make more connections and kind of spread the good out there, because, there's a lot of bad out there in internet land. I think this is one of the good things. There's, other shows do the same thing. There's a lot of other podcasts that are doing a lot of good too, but we're just lucky to be able to be a part of that, get to have fun stories, positive stories. We tell them every Monday. We get to answer questions on Wednesdays, talk about good stuff, and hopefully help plan better trips on Fridays. And it's because of your support over on Patreon. And also our patrons get those crazy shows, kind of like this one. They're kind of similar to this one, called Mike in the Midwest, every week. So if you'd like to join us in the new year, please come on over patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. All right, give Scott a follow on the social media, Instagram and Twitter at EpScott, EPSCOT. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike. Give me a follow as well in those locations. And again, we're taking off for the next 3 weeks for Christmas, New Year's, and then we'll be down for Marathon Weekend, but we'll be back that second weekend of January. We'll be ready to take your calls, so please be ready to give us a call. We'll have a lot to catch up on. There'll be lots of Disney news. There'll be lots of stories from Marathon Weekend. I mean, there'll be a lot of stories either way from Marathon Weekend. There'll be a lot of news, all kinds of stuff. So we're going to get out of here. And don't forget, this Friday will be our annual show. It's going to be Christmas Eve live from the Be Our Guest Podcast Studios, where the four of us are going to get together this year and exchange our gifts here in the studios. And this is, now let me just give you a little behind the scenes here real quick. This is the show that my daughter Mallory requests that we listen to every year as we drive to my in-laws on Christmas Eve. It's about a 45-minute drive up to their house in Moscow Mills, Missouri. And so she doesn't listen to the podcast. She's 14, but ever since she was little, probably about 5 or 6, she's like, she always tell me, Daddy, can we listen to the show where you unwrap the gifts and everybody gives gifts to each other? So we've been doing that ever since she was little. I mean, again, we started the show when she was 2 months old. So that's the one, that's kind of our tradition. We save this one until we go up on Christmas Eve to the in-laws and we listen to it. Then we listen to Christmas music on the way home that night. But maybe this could be your tradition as well, because it's very family friendly and the gifts are kind of topical for the year. I got some great gifts picked out for everybody. Ricky made it easy this year, I'll just say.
I'm about to say, Mike, I didn't know Mallory listened to this, because I just got your gift yesterday, and I'm shipping it out, tonight or tomorrow. And I think Mallory might actually be jealous of your gift.
That's good.
That's all I'm going to say.
I like it. I like that. That makes me very happy, but this is one of those things that it's going to come out on Friday. It's kind of our tradition. We're going to exchange our gifts here in the studio, but you could take it with you on Saturday, Sunday. And of course, we'll have the shows next week as well. So anyway, we're going to get out of here and wish you a great holiday season. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Get ready for the new year. And we'll have the shows this week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if you're listening on Sunday night, have a great wrap to your weekend. If you're listening on Thursday, we're almost to Christmas. We're almost there. So hang tight. Got another fun one coming your way tomorrow. So for Scott, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Thursday or Sunday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Boom. That's fun. That's good stuff.
That was fun. I liked it.
All right, go eat.
Yeah, it was weird. We had lunch at 11:30. Maybe no, it was more like noon. We went to Outback, but I wasn't that hungry. So
we went to Outback last night.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was good.
Yeah. So we had we had some bloomin' onion, and then
We
I
did not
split.
have that. We had that last time, dude. My stomach hurt forever. So
Oh, it's so good. It's
almost
so
ordered
good.
it. I'm like, no, 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 no.
Oh man, it's so good. But then I ended up with like chicken tenders with Elizabeth, and like I just wasn't like feeling. I wasn't very hungry, but now like I'm just like so hungry.
Oh, yeah.
Like
That's a long time. Holy
yeah,
cow. You gotta go
yeah.
eat.
Oh,
All right.
I was gonna say to Fulton though, like his brother's birthday is like tomorrow, I think so. Shout out, yeah, awesome, yeah, Carson's birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday to Carson.
Absolutely. Happy 20, man, to be 22. Like
I
Taylor
think
Swift.
there's a song about being
Yeah.
22.
I'm feeling 22. Happy birthday out in Indy, Carson. And Fulton, you're a good brother to remind him. That's awesome. All right. Well, hey, take care. And I will talk to you tomorrow. I guess we'll do the normal time because
Yeah, after hours and hours of text messages, it's gonna be the
that's what
normal
I
time.
was gonna say. Dude, I was testing everything with the mixer. She had the world stopping, and then she's like, "Oh, by the way, we're not going." I'm like, "Oh,
It's all good. It's all good.
I was so fired. That's why I didn't even answer. I'm like, "Okay, can't say something nice."
Oh, so what? Is she gonna get some cold then from you?
Yeah, yes. She's getting switches.
She's getting switches. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm bringing
man.
back my grandma. I'm
Yeah,
channeling
that's funny.
grandma. Oh my god, yeah, that text thread. I just,
I
so
just,
when
I
you're
didn't, I
available-
just, I feel kind of out of place when you all are like messaging about the show, So I just kind of like sit back and I was
Well,
just like,
I mean, seriously, my life is so busy. I am only available like on Mondays. That's the only time I block out.
yeah.
Oh my god, it's crazy.
All right.
Okay,
I'm gonna go have something to eat. I'll let you know where I end up going. So
okay, I'll talk to you later. See you, bro.
have a good night, everyone.
See you.